Okay, guys, welcome back to the ODA and law class. Are you ready for today's study? Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay, guys. Let's start the part one. Today we will see the ODA issues and the trade issues. Right. As you may assume, the development issues are related to the many dimensions in the international societies. Right. However, the most fundamental area in relation to the development assistance work, yes, it is economy or trade. For example, developing country, how they make economic progress? How do they make improvement of their life standard of the people? Yes. The change or the expansion of their economy, or the improvement or the ability of economic areas with expansion or improvement of trade issues. Right, in the international societies, to make money, yes, trade is the most important things. Yes, it is. Especially for the developing countries, which has the small market, domestic market, or not higher level of technology, then developing country, they must do something in the trade area. Therefore, trade can make economic development for the developing country. And also, they can make a bit more progress of their life standard for the people. So sometimes, when we help the trade area in the developing countries, what is that? Development assistance in the trade area, then, we can expect the ODA result. So, let's talk about that point. How can we assist the trade areas of developing countries? And how can we regulate these jobs? The development assistance in the trade area for the economic progress of developing country, for example, that should be a main stream of the part one of today's study. Okay, development issues and assistance in the trade area. Well, we have studied the MDG issues or SDG issues. So development assistance work can be related to the many areas in the international societies. However, the foremost fundamental basic things, food. How can you make the food? Agriculture, of course. But if the developing country have more money, then they can buy more food. So, with the trade, more trade, or expansion of trade, the developing country can make more money, and also they can learn the international standard or global standard, And also they can take some kind of technologies or skills, know-how, how to improve the standard of living in their societies. So, assistance, the ODA for trade area, these jobs can make many influence positively, to the developing countries. So the ODA works in the trade state. The stage, the area, is important for the developing country. All right, international societies knows that. Many developed countries or international organizations, they want to help the developing countries in the trade areas. So we can call that job, that works, as aid, that is assistance or help for trade. Aid for trade, these words are the kind of symbol to call the development work in the trade area. So, from now, we will see the development issues and trade areas, that is, aid for trade issues. Okay, how can we make the economic growth of developing country? If the developing country or certain developing country has the big market, many people, if the people can buy many things, if they can consume the product of their domestic product, then it's okay. But in many cases, many developing countries, they have the small market, lower level of technologies, not effective production systems. So, it is very negative to make economic growth. However, they have to do something for the economic growth. So, when they promote the trade, then they may make economic profit or economic growth for their countries. However, the developing country normally, they do not have good technology, as you know. And also, sometimes they have many obstacles to adjust with the trade atmosphere in the international societies. Therefore, international societies or international organizations or many developed countries realized that if they can help the developing country to make more trade activities of developing country, then if so under the assistance of the international societies from the donor countries, if they make progress or expansion of trade area, then if the developing country can make more trade activities, then there's more possibility to make economic profit or benefit. Yes, it is. Therefore, they made big project. Let's help the developing country to do more trade in the international communities. And we can call that project as Aid for Trade, to foster economic growth and to reduce the poverty of developing countries. So, aid for trade, it is the very core point of the development assistance in the trade area. So, aid for trade is the about the assisting developing countries to increase export of their goods and their services. And furthermore, they can help the developing country to integrate into the international trading system. There is the multilateral trading system, such as WTO. Yeah, with that situation, developing country can make more economic benefit with their trade activity. And then international society will make more freedom of trade or whole economic growth in the world. But the developing countries still have many obstacles to understand or to adjust with the international trade standard. There's so many difficult regulations. So for the developing country, it is very hard to understand or to overcome those kind of obstacles. Therefore, international societies or donor countries, developed world, or international organizations, they want to help for the developing country to adjust with the trade system in the world. And then, they expect that developing country can do more trade activity for the economic growth. Right? Yeah. So, it is not just the funding for the developing country, but also it is also the assistance for the developing country to understand the regulation of international societies, or sometimes technical assistance to make better product for their trade. Right? Yes, it is. So, in the international societies nowadays, we have many kind of aid for trade activity as a part of development assistance work. So many kind of ODA programs in the international communities for the developing countries, to expand trade activities for the economic benefit for them. And also, in the later of 1980s, in the end of the GATT systems, many developing countries wanted to take the kind of help or assistance from the international societies to make better trade environment. So as the talk or discussion in the late of 1980s, developed countries and the developing countries, they agreed to do something for their common goals, and they established the new trade regulation system, that is WTO. So those kind of discussion in 1980s or early of 1990s, we call that discussion talk period as the Uruguay round. That's UR. So, in the Uruguay round negotiation, the discussion days, one of the main topic was how can we help the developing country to expand their trade, or technical assistance for the developing countries to participate on the international trade systems. Yeah. So, recently, as time goes by, these issues, aid for trade, becoming more and more becoming important than before. So aid for trade, it is one part of the development assistance, but it is, we can say that it's a fundamental point for the developing country to make more trade activities, to expand the trade volume for the economic benefit. Yes, it is. In 2009, the aid for trade, these issues becoming one of the hot topics in the international societies. So the societies try to do many things for the developing countries to make more economic growth or expansion of trade volumes. So, yes, basically, developing countries, they have done many things with the help of the from the international societies or donor countries or organizations. Developing countries have done many things in the trade area. Yeah, and they made good research, of course. How can, let's talk about the details of the aid for trade. How can you do that? Firstly, we can help the developing country to improve their technology. So technical assistance, it is one of the main theme for the aid for trade. Or developing countries or international society can help the developing country to establish better infrastructure of developing countries. Sometimes they can assist the developing country to make the capacity, the better capacity of developing countries. So capacity building, including trade development, it is one major part of the categories of aid for trade. And also, international societies or donor countries can assist the developing country to swim well in the pool of trade regulation. They can teach the developing country to understand how can they follow international trade systems, or they can make some kind of stepping stones to join to their good trade regulation systems, to invite good trade partner in the international societies. So it is trade-related adjustment. Okay, guys. we talked about the main framework, the main concept of aid for trade. I said that international societies or donor countries or international organizations, they have done many jobs for the work, aid for trade. But who is the symbolic organization? Yeah, in the international societies, we have very good multinational trading system. It is a kind of control tower of whole international trade activities. Or sometimes it is a forum to discuss about future trade issues. That is World Trade Organization. Sometimes we can use the spelling S or spelling Z for the organizations. Yeah. You know, American style and English style. So World Trade Organization, WTO system, it is framework of the control tower of international trade activities. WTO system also are very interested in the work of development. So the aid for trade, it is one of the main jobs of the WTO system recent days. So from now we will talk about that point. All right. The WTO system was established in the middle of 1990s after the Uruguay round. So since 1986, middle of 1980s, the international societies wanted to make the brand new international trade control system. Before then, the GATT system dominated the international societies regarding trade issues. But many countries realized that the GATT system, GATT, is not enough to control the whole trade volumes of international societies. And they agreed to make brand new trade control tower system. As a new multilateral trade control system in the world, the WTO became the new system for the international trade. So, since 1986, many countries, they discussed about the establishment of the WTO systems, and then at last, the middle of 1995, with the 8 years of the discussion and negotiations in the GATT system, they could make new control tower, new trade system in the international societies. As the successor of the GATT system, WTO became the symbol of the international trade regulation systems. It is the international institution. Actually, the GATT was originally, it was not the organization, basically. It was just the rule. GATT means the general agreement for trade and tariffs. So it was international law. But the society, they used the law, and then it became as like a practical organization. But originally it was not institution. But WTO system, it is, yeah, real official international organizations to control, to regulate who international trade activities. They use the many kinds of international law, that is international trade law, including the GATT, the former one. And also, the WTO system, they have more than 160 member countries in the world, including, yeah, many Western countries, such as the United States, Canada, European countries, and also Asian countries, such as the Korea, Japan, and newly engaged countries, such as Russia and China. Many African countries, South American countries, and South Asian countries, India even. So, all of the world, almost every countries in the world, they are member state of WTO system. So we can say that the WTO system is global level. It can cover almost all trade activities in the international communities. It was very successful, and since 2001, yeah, WTO system launched a new discussion stage for the future trade activities. We can call that discussion stage as Doha Development Agenda Round. Why they make this name? Because this discussion stage was started from the capital city of what is that? Yeah, Qatar, Doha. And also, their main agenda was development issue. What is that? Aid for trade. Yeah. So, the international societies and also the WTO system, they are interested in the development issues because, yeah, among the who WTO members, majorities are developing countries. Therefore, they have to think about the major numbers of the member countries. They are developing countries. So, WTO system has to consider the situation of developing countries, developing world, and they tried to make a linkage between trade regulation and development issues. What is that? Aid for trade. Okay, the role of WTO for the trade activity assistance. Basically, WTO system wants to encourage the developing country members, providing many kind of help. And they tried to improve their ability, expansion of the ability of developing countries. That is the capacity building. And also, WTO system always tries to see what happens in the developing country and their trade activities. If they find something problems in their activities, then the WTO system always tries to help to solve the problems of trade activities of developing countries. It is very, very important for the not just for the developing country, but also the WTO system itself, because developing member countries, if they are successful in the trade activities, then they will do more the WTO system. Yeah, it's natural things. Therefore, for the WTO system itself, they wanted to help developing members, developing country members. So, aid for trade became one of the mainstream of their activity in the WTO system. Okay, what is the main theme of the WTO on the aid for trade issues? Firstly, building the trade capacity of developing country. They have to help the developing country to do more trade activities. They have to have more ability, capacity, do something in the trade area. And then they also can provide technical assistance for the developing country to do more trade activities. And they are managing or running various types of programs to understand international societies and trade regulations. Technical assistance is one of the main themes for the aid for trade activities. But please remember that encouragement or technical assistance and the other aid for trade activities are connected together. Sometimes in one programs, they have those kind of colors all together. And also, the WTO systems has the inside of the structure, they have a kind of bodies or agencies or sub-bodies in the whole WTO system umbrella. For example, the Committee on the Trade and Development. It is the special committee to make technical assistance for the developing world. And the committee can talk about how can you help the developing members. And also, especially just for the lower level of developing country, we can call that countries, especially least developed countries, that is LDC. So the WTO system have general committee for the trade and development issues, and under the system they have subcommittee on the LDC, the least developed countries. So the subcommittee on the LDC, it is under the body of the Committee on the Trade and Development. LDC countries are quite many. That is one of the there are the lowest level of their economy, and the WTO system, they define that they are the lowest level, and they have many problems, obstacles to do good trade activities. So they have to make the special touch, special care for their trade activity. Okay, special care. Right. Let's talk about the WTO system and the standard of United Nations. In the early days of the 2000, under the MDG goals, WTO system wanted to make the harmonization with the standard. For example, MDG 8, that is building a global partnership for the development, under that standard, that goals, we can make many projects or programs to make the better trade activities for the developing countries. But it is not just for the MDG 8. It is also related to the other goals, such as MDG 1, eradication of extreme poverty and hunger. That is the fundamental goals for the whole human beings. Think about that. Why we want to do more trade? Because we want to make more benefit from trade activities, economic development. It is directly related to the reduction of hungerness and poverty. Therefore, we can say that with many logics, many basic concepts, aid for trade activity are related to the international development standards such as MDG or SDG. Or let's see the MDG 8, building a global partnership for development. Target A, target B, target C, target D, target E, target F. Yeah, please read these targets. They are related to the aid for trade issues. Let's see a Doha round, which was started from the 2001 under the WTO umbrellas. They launched a new negotiation for trade, and they realized that development issues is much more important than other agenda. So WTO system, they pick up the development issues as their major discussion topic. So they call that round, the negotiation stage, as development agenda round. And they, with the stage discussion period, they could make many trade and development related issues and future goals and the prospect. And WTO system, they could make many kind of progress for the developing country member state. Okay guys, this is the end of part 1. Let's have a break time.